Hello, welcome to CSCE 492 for the spring of 2026. I'm just going to go over what we're going to do this semester quickly. So just like last semester in 490, everything is already here at capstone.csce.sc.edu. Everything that you have to do and everything about the class is in this website. So check it out. The first thing you have to do is watch this video. You're doing that again. Good. Then read the syllabus. Everything is in the 492 syllabus for this semester. Now, the third thing is most important. If you did not take 490 last semester, that means you don't have a team, you're not in any of the teams, you have to email me your GitHub username right now. So do that, and then I can assign you to a team, as I explained here. And that link, I will be assigning you to just some random team, starting with any team that has less than 4 people. So teams that have lost people because they also took it out of order. So I'll be doing that. Hopefully I get all those done by Thursday of the first week of classes. But make sure you email me your GitHub username right now so I can do that. Start doing that. Then, just like last semester, we have our discussion right here in the SC capstone. So click over there and watch it. That's, capital W, watch it, so that you get the GitHub notifications and everything. Any new announcements will be posted there. And then you can see the deadlines pages has all the deadlines for this semester. So like I said, this is what you have to do this week. Give me your your GitHub username if you're new to the class, if you didn't take 490, and then I assign everybody to a team, and then we start with the milestones. So I'm going to go over all these milestones now. So the first one is February 1st, yes, Sunday, and that's the testing milestone. So basically what we're doing here is we're doing some automated testing. So that means you write code that tests your code. So I broke it down to 2 parts: unit testing and behavioral testing. So basically what I call unit testing is when you write code that calls your so you write test code that calls your program code. So that's a unit test. That's what I call a unit test. So any code that actually calls your program code is a unit test. So write some of those. And then there's what I call behavioral tests, but these go by many different names, like, have the instrumented test or UI test or whatever. So this is when you also, again, write test code, but that test code doesn't exactly call your program code. It pretends to be a user using your app, or, call some helper library that calls your app or something like that. So depending on which platform you're using, if you're building a web app or an Android app or an iOS app, each framework will have different tool sets that help you do, something that I call unit tests and something that I call behavioral tests. So what you need to do right now, the first part of this, that's there's an initial due date, February 1st, is start reading about how your framework deals with this, how to write unit tests for your framework, and, just write those first few tests for your framework for the first deadline, so that basically how to write tests for your framework of both types, and you have at least, a couple. And then through the semester, you'll be writing code, and then as you write code, you write tests for your new code, and commit those, and that's just part of your process. And then so at the end of the semester, for the final deadline, we're going to go back and check to make sure that you have added a bunch of more tests. So this is why this is split into 2 parts. So first part, at the end of February, just get it set up so that you can write a test. You have at least one little silly test there, and by the final date, we're going to check that you have a bunch of tests that test your code. And it doesn't have to be extensive. This is not like, you don't have to test everything, but we want to see significant tests implemented. So that's your testing milestone. The beta release is the next release. So we have the beta release, the release candidate 1, and then your final 1.0 release. So they all work fairly the same way. You know, first you're gonna write some issues, put some GitHub issues about the features you're gonna implement for the beta release, associate those with the beta milestone in GitHub, and you know, I'm gonna look at them, see if that's, you know, seems fair, and, you know, approve them or not. We'll have a discussion on it, and, you know, decide which things get done, and then you do them for the beta milestone, for example. And same for the RC1, and then for the 1.0, that's the final one. So in general, the beta release is going to be, you know, your most important features need to get done by the beta release. So the core functionality has to be there, right? All the big stuff. The RC1 release is actually a feature complete. So the RC1 release, you need to consider that as your final release, right? So this is the one you put in. It's like, I think we're done. Everything is done. Invariably, there will be bugs. There will be things that don't quite work. Then we'll find them. Other people will find them. And so you'll fix those for the 1.0 release. So the idea is between the RC1 and the 1.0, you should be just fixing bugs or, you know, fixing minor issues. So that's the beta release. That's the RC1 release. Again, it's just another release. There is the quality assurance. So what I'm going to do for this milestone is I'm going to take your RC1 release and, you know, we're going to grade it and all that as usual, but we're also going to give it to another team. So this means you're going to get some other team's app and you're going to test it. You're going to, you know, put it through spaces, find bugs, and then add those bugs or those bug reports to their GitHub issues. So that's your quality assurance, where you're just testing somebody else's team, and you'll be graded on, you know, your testing of that other team. Then for the final deadline, we also you have to set up a little website. So as this is the website milestone, you can use, you know, I recommend you use GitHub Pages, but you don't have to. You know, there's some other options there. And then you have to do the actual release, just like all the other releases. It has to be, you know, fully professional. Remember, we're looking for a professional, bug-free, you know, looks good. It's intuitive. It's easy to use. You know, intuitive has. We don't have to spend too much time, click 10 things to get something done, kind of app, right? So, and it has a lot of features. It can't be just a to-do app or something like that. It has to be, you know, fully complex app with sophisticated features. So that's your final 1.0 release. And then the final demo, very similar to your previous demo. It's a video demo. I guess the main difference is this is individual. So I do require everybody in the team to, you know, have their 2 minutes, or so it's like 10 to 15 minutes. So it's like everybody should do like 2-3 minutes of the demo. So this is what you need to have in that demo, and that's what you need to turn in. So those are the milestones. Going back to the deadlines, go to home here, and deadlines, and then the only other thing is you also have to do the peer review form, which you did in 490. So just, you know, review your peers at the end of the semester. This is I'm looking at April 28th, which is the last day of, no, 27th is the last day of classes, and it's the day after. You just have to do, and then the senior survey form, this is a departmental thing, not part of this class, but we want people to do that. And then for this class, you have to do the peer review form. It's just the online form. So that's it.